Question to you.
Please.
So you know what you're saying. I just Googled Stephen Namwa Kennedy Japan. And you say what you're saying now are the key things that are important to you.
What?
The first, the things
but
the first five stories. A second.
No.
The first five stories.
You are being mischievous.
Is propaganda.
No, you are being mischievous.
Kennedy Japan will win.
Mischievous.
Hello guys and welcome back to this channel. Yes, today we are going to look at a journalistic caricature. And we are going to talk about a recent conversation that sparked on Joynews, but looking at the demeanor or how these conversations were carried out during that interactive section. Bro, it was far from what the journalists expected. And yes, I'm talking about Joynews Evans Mensah, who happens to be the head of political desk. Now, in just a recent week, he'd had an editorial session, and the headline, which was the NPP flag bearer contest, the parliamentary battle lines. This for me was, an amazing headline. But the question is, why the parliamentary battle lines? And it was very, very simple, right? When you look at the people he invited, Samia Wuku, who is the MP for Ikuapem North, Stephen Amwa, the MP for Nshaeso constituency, Davis Opoku Ansa, the MP for Mpreso constituency, and Haruna Mohammed, who happens to be the Deputy General Secretary. When you look at these personalities, for sure, we know Samia Wuku is in the camp of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We know Stephen Amwa, Steka, Kennedy's camp, and we know the vital role that Davis Opoku is also playing in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's camp, especially when he actually co-chaired the invitation of the 60 parliamentary members to declare their support for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ahead of the flag bearership election. So, from the spectrum of Evans Mensah, there have been so many conversations that have sparked in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And for him, he saw this as a podium where he could invite all these personalities and have a discussion on the trending news. At the end of the day, he's a journalist. So he feeds on trends. He needs to discuss the narrative that is going on for his audience to also have a feel of that. But things went the other way around. And that is what made this whole, conversations they had on the channel very, very interesting. I am Alexander Nyako. Do well to subscribe to this channel if this is your first time. We are going to delve into this.
Some of you've been a party executive before at a very, very senior level in the party. You should understand this. Is what you'd have done if you were there.
Well, good evening, Evans, and good evening to your cherished viewers. I'm not too sure I really understood the topic for today when you said NPP flag bearer contest, the parliamentary battle lines. I'm not too sure what you mean by parliamentary battle lines.
Yeah, so it's very simple. Now, on that said day, for that particular Joynews interaction, the NPP came with a plan, and you could see that they actually came to sabotage that headline to make it look like there is no battle anywhere. There is no parliamentary battle anywhere. They came with a plan, and it was very funny. And their plan was very simple to make it very clear that there is no battle anywhere. The real battle is with their opposition, the NDC. The media has to focus on, the negatives that are happening, the things that are burdening the Ghanaian people. Those are the discussions they should have and not focus on their parliamentary primaries. So they actually came with a plan. But even before they came with a plan, for about 2 or 3 days ago, Kwesi Kwarteng was at Joynews. Now, Kwesi Kwarteng happens to be the spokesperson for Honorable Kennedy Japan, who is also vying vehemently for the flag bearership portfolio for the New Patriotic Party. Now, Kwesi Kwarteng was at Joynews, and of course, he had so many interesting interaction with the journalist over there. And apparently, they had Miracle Sabuaje on the phone line for an engagement, because Miracle is a spokesperson for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And for Miracle, he felt, nominations have not even been opened, so it was too early to have those conversations. And of course, he told Kwesi Kwarteng he would advise him to leave the place and not talk about, all those things. And it looked like Kwesi Boateng did not take that statement from Miracle lightly because, what Kwesi Boateng was saying was that he is not campaigning on the platform, but he is equally debating, remarks from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he made a clear example of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia going to Takrady to state that, just 3 days to his election, fuel prices were increased as if it was a sabotage, for him to lose the election. And he, Kwesi Boateng, has to speak to the facts. He has to debate with the facts. And that is basically what he is doing. And that on any day, even before he would hop on the phone line, he would see the flyers, he would see everything. So if he has any advice for Kwesi Boateng, he could have done it before even hopping on the phone lines.
Constitutional reforms. There's a conference coming up in July. What is he doing? Why?
Have you yourself not admitted that Bawumia deserves a second chance?
When did where?
In any way or form, directly or indirectly?
Where? Why would you spend this precious airtime that we have from multimedia when we can be discussing the nurses who are on strike?
We have extensively. We have just gone by before we went on a break.
We are not interested. And I'll give a very good advice to my brother Kwesi Boateng that he should seize these things.
He's not the one setting any tone for the conversation. The flag bearer himself.
Can you also allow me to speak, please? I'm not sure
Make the point.
You expect me to say exactly what you want to say. I am saying that, in all humility, Mr. Kwesi Boateng, if I were him, I would seize this conversation around our internal contest and go to my constituency to help with the rebuilding process.
That I have always maintained my stance and my composure that first I'm an NPP even before I aligned with any other candidate or any other hopeful. And so in as much as I may want to advance the cause of that hopeful or that candidate, I'm also mindful that I need to also keep my home and protect my home. But I wish to say that when you set standards for principles, we have to remind ourselves that they are not seasonal. And I'm not sure I have the capacity to determine your editorial policy. You also don't pick editorial policies just based on a vacuum.
Of course not.
And certainly it's based on commentaries around and comments that has been made by, even for the purpose of this conversation, politically exposed persons. Well, it's true that Miracle is right when he's indicated that it may not be time for campaign, but as a principal person, he should have said this when his boss, Dr. Bawumia, went to Takrady and tried to shift blame and suggest that there was a time where even 3 days to election, we increased fuel and it was meant as though it was designed for him to lose an election. So you cannot play the ostrich game and come on TV and pretend to be holier than thou and ask me to go into my constituency. Has he been in his constituency? When was the last time he visited his constituency? So I want to be measured on this, but I just want to say that even Kennedy Japan speaking did not speak out of a vacuum. He spoke in reaction to a certain history that has been put forth by Dr. Bawumia, his boss. And Kennedy's reaction was to give a proper context and a very factual account to the history, a leg of the history that has been buried, when Dr. Bawumia made a point that in NPP, nobody has been made to go only once, but has been 2 or 3 occasions.
Now, when Miracle made this strong assertion that it's too early for them to talk about these things and that they have a lot to look at with regards to the ruling party and some of the demerits, some of the the wrongdoings, they have a lot to discuss and not to talk about the primaries. It signaled a lot to the official caucus of the party, and of course, they had to place a ban on people going to radio stations to say anything that has to do with, campaign messages, specifically because nominations has not even been opened yet. And so it's too, it is early days for people to talk about this. So Evans Mensah did not know they came with a plan.
But Evans, I think it's most unfair, this your topic at this time. And permit me to also register it on your platform. In all fairness, because we're a Democrat. at a time that you have many Ghanaians with this government under the cover of goodwill, they have increased our tariffs, electricity, by over 14%. But this government increasing our tariff when it comes to water. Today, a bag of cement, which was 83 cedis end of December, is now selling in excess of 130 cedis. The Galamsey menace, we are now facing it head on. Over 30,000 young people have had their appointments terminated. And we want to spend the whole time to discuss NPP presidential primaries, which is like 6-7 months away. That's unfair. Unless you're not feeling the pain
I smile.
No, not that
I
you
smile because
I want to register that we believe that NPP is not taking the taxes of Ghanaians. Those taking the taxes of the Ghanaian people are those in government. And it's important that the media, also being the fourth estate of the realm, must hold this government accountable.
Well, I smile because
which is not being
I smile because I smile because the man you support in Dr. Bawumia met MMDCEs who held a press conference who said they support him. In fact, they told us that they had met another aspirant, and aspirant lied to us. He didn't back him.
No problem.
I'm coming.
No, I'm listening to you.
He was campaigning, forcing your party to issue a statement that those meetings you can't hold. The man sitting beside you. He was with his candidate in Ashanti reading, meeting Tescom and others. You started the campaign. You are on the show saying it's too early, but you are campaigning. Your man is campaigning. You are supporting him. I'm asking a question.
I have granted interviews to that effect.
I'm talking about your parliamentary responsibility. You raise a host of issues, and I'm saying on the host of issues you raised, as a member of parliament, that you voted to go to parliament. Which one?
I have.
Which one?
In fact, even when we're even discussing the budget and the consideration of the budget.
That was the budget.
But that time the people were being sacked.
A lot has happened.
I'm telling you that, Evans, if this cannot take our conscience as a nation to defend this young people, their right to work.
I have let me finish Islamic logic for a second.
I find it.
I'll come to add. I need to ask me one more question. Because you see, you say media, but I'm saying to you, we voted for you. We've given you power.
You didn't.
No, you. I'm talking about you. You as an individual, because you raised the matter. The government was elected, but you also elected.
Yes, I was.
To parliament.
Yes.
And we give you all the power to do on our behalf.
That's right.
The things that you're asking the media to do. And I'm saying things that happen. You, Samir, with that power I gave you.
Have spoken
what have
about
you done on the floor?
What I'm saying is that
I'm not so much speaking about
the minority.
If you felt so passionate about the things you want me to do,
they have raised these matters on the floor of parliament by leadership, by members. We've had press conferences on it. All we are asking for is that, for God's sake, let us also be on the side of these young Ghanaians who are being punished on the altar of political.
And you're addressing this too.
And that is what I'm saying.
You're addressing
and
this
I'm addressing it through the medium.
Okay.
And I'm using this medium to communicate with the government and the people.
Take your own advice. I want to see you being more vociferous on the floor.
We have been vociferous
on
this matter.
That's because I
have raised it.
But once again, as you can clearly see, Evans Mensah talking about the fact that they say he shouldn't speak about, their parliamentary primaries. Yet, there is some sort of campaigning going on. And as the head of political decks, you should know that Evans will be interested in these political, issues going on. And in fact, if you look at Stecker and Evans, so many, interesting engagements that went on over there.
I think sometimes I cannot say the media practitioners in our country have not contributed to the building of this very good country, or our beloved country, Ghana. However, I think sometimes, some of you, do us a great deal of disservice. I'm saying this because you just open your phone and he said about 3 captions.
No, 4.
4.
In fact, I can go down with
aligned
this
to
more.
Okay.
On campaigning, internal campaigns.
This is Crusading Guide. 20th June 2025. Less than 1 week. I had presented a statement on the inclusion of entrepreneurship in our academic curricula at the JHS, SHS levels because of the job space which is congested in our country. The fact that 106 to 109,000 tertiary students complete school annually are stand to be corrected. During the period, or in the period of graduation, only about 10% get job to do. It's a very big problem. And I did my research, came out with a proposal. It has been published, front pages, and here is the case. You are talking, you haven't talked about these things you are talking about. Sami, myself, other minority members, possibly even majority members who mean well for this country have raised issues, but it is your exclusive right or prerogative as a media practitioner, as editor, your own internal editorial policy to choose which ones. Even sometimes you change the captions. I'm not saying you, sorry. I'm not saying multimedia as a whole, but as a country, the media industry today, I think it has to be a huge theme.
Okay, I mean,
I'm coming.
Let me finish. Not talking about
no, let me finish. No, today. When you are talking, we allow you. What you are doing here.
It's not about allowing me.
I thought you believe in democracy.
I'm the host of the show.
But let somebody finish.
I'm going to arrogate myself the power of the speaker because all of you are members of.
But for me, when I watched this video, I felt a bit bad for the party, the New Patriotic Party, because once again, I felt that if they had this whole notion of sending a clear message to the media that nobody should group any caucus to have any campaign sort of message, I feel that there could still be a way to channel this, because if Ivan sends you this flyer or anything and you have a problem with the editorial name or anything, you can still talk with him that no, there is no parliamentary battles from our end, and that this and this, we are not supporting anybody, or we are not saying anybody should go out there and campaign in these periods because of blah 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 blah. You tell Evans this, he will definitely update his headline into a different headline and so invite you guys to have a very nice conversation. That, I believe, is the right way to go. Instead of you seeing the headline, you think the headline is not appropriate, and you think you go on their air, you go on their, on their platform, and then you just go and have a counter based on their headline. And no, it shouldn't look like the party has a problem with Joynews. No, it shouldn't be that, because for me, Joynews is one of the best channels. I always watch Joynews, so it shouldn't look like the party has any problem with Joynews. No. It's very simple. They send you the headline, you don't like it, reach out to them, tell them that no, there is no parliamentary, this and this and this, and that we've even stated that this and this should not happen. And then they will update their headline. You still come, you have that conversation, and everything will be professional. When you try to attack the journalists, and the journalists start asking you guys questions, and then you are dodging the questions, it's not good. For me, when I saw this, it was simply not the best.
People are being sacked. Young ones are crying. You don't even care.
You don't have any concern when you're wow. You are safe. You're in good hands. Haruna, but there's a most fundamental question I need to ask. The last time I spoke to you, I think yesterday on Top Story, on Newsline, you said you were concerned about the way the campaigning and people were acting. Let me ask my question. Sticker. Are we going to see? I'm asking the journalist.
But what I'm saying is, you are still going back to areas.
Let me ask my question.
No, we understand you, but what we're trying to say is,
Sticker.
Evans, why is the time?
Let me ask my question. Sticker. Let me ask my question.
You said Sticker, so I should answer.
Because I'm telling you, let me ask my question.
Oh, okay, sure.
Haruna, on the back of this statement, are we going to see the party cracking the whip on those who have violated the code? Because this code existed even before this statement today. So if people have breached it, are we going to see sanctions?
We've issued a statement. We've also asked that we are going to have a meeting. I believe that it is too early in the day to decide that we are going to crack the...
Why is it too early? You had a code, it has been breached.
Because we have just issued a statement.
But the statement didn't say you are asking people to stop. But people have already breached it before today.
The statement is not up to
apart from Abronye, who has been referred to.
It's not up to 24 hours, so I cannot speak to whether
the deputy general secretary. Yeah, the deputy general secretary.
Today.
Yeah,
on insurance by 50%.
But once again, Evans managed to, keep everything professional, the smiles, everything. But for me, I think this was not the best. And yes, kudos to Evans for keeping everything professional on that level. And of course, once the open nomination, because literally they have almost 6 months to the election, which will be on 31st January. So once the open nominations, and you start the campaigning, definitely Evans will come back once again. But yeah, for me, when I saw this, it was interesting to watch, but at the same time, for me, I felt it wasn't good for the party because once again, I'll reiterate, when they send you these headlines, you are not interested, have the deliberation with them, talk to them, don't even show up, if they are not willing to change the headline, they don't show up at all, talk to them, and then they can work on their headline, and when you come, you have that fruitful. Don't come on air and try to have a counter interaction with the journalists. No. For me, it was a no for me. Guys, what do you think? You can also go to the comment section and let me know what you think. Anyway, this is the journalistic caricature, and this was with Alexander Nyako SRC. Thank you very much for watching this video. Do want to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. Till we meet again, it's bye for now.